Good afternoon. If, for example, all of us in this room, and many of us in this room, had a visa interview at the U.S. Embassy, the sky is open with uncontrollable amount of rainfall, will still keep that appointment. That comment is in reference to the fact that looking around the hall, many of you who are always here are not here. And I'm sure if I were to reach out individually and ask, they will say the rain. So apparently in some cases, we are afraid of the rain more than any other thing. And when it comes to some of the questionable things, really the sky is falling apart. We'll stay here at the embassy though 1 hour before it starts. But it's good to have those of you who are here to be here. The state broadcaster is here, live on radio. That is important to us. The rest of you who run the different online media platforms, as we can see with the camera. So it's okay. Let me start this way because I have the Director General of the CSA here. He will be speaking to you on some very serious matters. All of us who are part of government we are working for the same institution. We are supposed to be collaborating and cooperating with each other, irrespective of how distinct and separate we are as a part of the government. And what each of us got to do is consistent with the laws creating the different entities we work for. It is therefore important that even in the midst of disagreement, we treat each other with respect. As a government, we have followed very denigrating and disrespectful comments from some in the public space against the Director General of the Civil Service Agency for doing his job. Some insinuated that based on his robust nature that you're not brought up well. Who in the public space should refer to an official of government that way because you disagree with the work he's doing? So we just wanted to state in clear and unequivocal terms that His Excellency and the executive branch at large firmly support the work being done by the CSA as long as it remains consistent with the law creating the entity that he runs. To stand with him, we think people have the right to be questionable about what he's doing. They may have some disagreements, but we must at all times, as a government, treat each other with respect. Today, the government and its European partners are involved in what we call Liberia European Union Partnership Dialogue. Today's dialogue is the 12th section of that dialogue. It brought together key government actors. I was there earlier. I had to come because of the press conference and send my deputy to fill the void for MICAT. Justice, Finance, Commerce, FDA, EPA, GSC, the LACC, the Governance Commission, and many other government entities are part of that dialogue, chaired by both the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the European Union's ambassador to Liberia. The dialogue is looking into many sectors. First, it delved into the bilateral relationship that we have with the European nations, so as to strengthen the bilateral cooperation between our country, our government, and the rest of the European nations. The dialogue also plays on the spotlight the issue of democracy, good governance, and the rule of law. A special presentation and discussion were also held on the issue of human rights, gender, we pay also attention to trade, investment, and economic cooperation. Of interest to us at the dialogue was the issue of cultural exchange, youth empowerment, education, entrepreneurship, and skill development. The dialogue also focused on infrastructure. That's something that we need in this country more, and we believe Europe is an important partner in what we can do building our infrastructures, developing our technological capacity and connectivity. The dialogue also pays some attention on telecommunication. The Liberia Telecommunication Authority taking the lead. The goal is the EU is interested in being featured in our new development agenda, which comes out beginning next year, in ways that align to what we want and not what they want. For too long, sometimes donors make interventions in different countries, not in consideration of the needs of the country. The new approach, hence the dialogue, is to brainstorm on what we believe they can do to aid our developmental agenda, which is being developed. And so for us, today's dialogue was a very critical step towards strengthening our relationship and collaboration with Europe. As you may all know now, the venerated statesman in the personality of the former President Pro Tem of the Liberian Senate, the Honorable Cletus Watterson, died in his 87th year. So Watterson has a long record of public service. He was elected senator for Grand Crew, his home county. He eventually became the President Pro Tem. He was a geophysicist by profession, served our country in many other capacities, including Director of the Liberia Geological Survey Center. He was the Minister of Lands, Mines, and Energy during the regime of President Talbot. He was Chairman and Managing Director of the Liberian Petroleum Refinery Company. He is credited for building the new Matadi Housing Estate as a corporate social responsibility program for the LPRC there. He was also head of the Liberian Mining Company, the MICAT. He ran the affairs of the company before the Civil War. The Watterson was an honored public servant, and the government of Liberia extends condolences to his family. Also, a former Minister of Commerce, in person of Miata Besco, also passed on to the great beyond. She was Minister of Commerce during the administration of President Selig, and the government similarly extends its condolences to her family. The government is keenly monitoring with keen interest reports of massive sea erosion affecting parts of Greenville, Sumner County, and many of the coastal counties and cities. The government assures the people in those areas that a team of disaster managers are prepared and equipped to provide aid where needed. All these reports coming through our media monitoring system have been captured by the National Disaster Relief Agency that has key responsibility in addressing the issues of disaster. We consider the situation grave as a government. We're very concerned. We will act, and we will act swiftly and effectively. Our President Joekai, was yesterday in Riverside County. True to the commitment that no car will get stuck in the mud, the country remains largely accessible. Of course, the way we know our seasonal issues here, by this time of the year, is when you used to have cars being stuck on the road for 4 or 5 days, sometimes a week. We have not had an instance of that. The President wanted to demonstrate that he's not just encouraging people that the roads are passable, but that he himself will get on the very road, not to sleep, go in, perform a ceremony, drive the same road, come right back to Monrovia. All of our contractors in the different zones and sectors have done excellently. And because we are closing in on the rainy season, the worst of the times are passing by. You can be assured that the President's professed policy stop, that there will be no car getting stuck in the mud, was sincere, was genuine, was implementable, and that's why you see. The other day I was on social media, LPRC right before then, they had a serious problem and they were trying to fix the place. And I live Broadway, who come with bypass, pass on the other side, and somebody ran over and said, oh, they said no car will get stuck in the mud, but right in front of LPRC, car getting stuck. And when I read it, what I said was, but for 6 years, you have somebody who had medicine for everything. They were borrowed medicine, they were diagnosed medicine. They left it there. We trying to fix it. You lifting it, how long we been here? 5 months? By lifting that, you're exposing the inefficiencies that were associated with a regime that we just took over from. How is that something celebratory? How can people be desperate and hungry for bad news? What kind of citizen you are? Patriotic, nationalistic, or what? When all you focus on is for bad things to happen, perhaps for the quest of political power. So, for us, we are really, really focused on what we can do. And the President was in Riverside because the modern judicial complex was to be dedicated. That complex has many subsets. The magisterial court, the traffic court, etc. That's why they call it a judicial complex. And I wish many of you who are journalists were there to imagine that those kinds of structures can exist as far as ancestors sit. Of course, we've got commitment from the judiciary that this is a process that is expanding across the country. For our end at the executive, we committed to supporting them in ways that will make them to achieve that very ambitious goal. You know, one of the reasons why sometimes you have petroleum shortages and all of that is our capacity to store enough on the ground. The LPRC took note of that. And the broken grounds, President Joekai was there to do so, to build a storage facility, to build additional storage facilities that will be able to host 12,800 metric tons of petroleum product. It is an addition to what exists already. What that allows us to do is to ensure that from time to time there will be adequate supply of petroleum products in country. And you will not see some of the scary situation, Victoria, that you saw in the past, where everywhere is deserted because no petroleum products. Or pregnant women are climbing on some steps or go somewhere because they're fighting for rights. These are things we solve. These are things we are determined to solve, and that is why we properly coined the word rescue mission. Having come to power, if we don't rescue the different situations, then again we just be in a category of leaders who screw the Liberian people up. Our commitment to the people is that we will not screw up. We deliver, and we deliver adequately. The Ministry of Education over the weekend launched what they call Back to the Classroom campaign, targeting young children at risk of missing out in school. When the Minister of Education was here at MICAT exactly 1 week ago, she mentioned that her ministry was sparing no effort to get children off the streets into the classroom. Education being a very key pillar of the arrest agenda and a policy area so close to the President's heart, he was glad to join the minister and the ministry over the weekend to launch the campaign. Our focus on the educational sector will remain as it is, because a nation that does not invest in education is in trouble. And we will do more to ensure that our educational system works. I know we had situations in the past where even leaders in charge called the sector a mess. Maybe we agree with them, but the difference there now is we'll not just see it as why it's been described, we'll fix it. And after our stewardship, after 6 years, we'll be proud of what you see. Finally, there's been some noise around about the national budget being altered. We've had conversations with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. In fact, yesterday when I was on state radio, the host called in the acting finance minister and spoke to him for over 20 minutes. And based on the information they provided, we can state that the figure of the budget as was passed is the same. The Ministry of Finance has stated categorically that the budget as passed was never and will not be altered. In fact, they have availed themselves to be part of any hearing called by those who are concerned about the budget being altered. As a central government, with Finance Ministry being one of our arms, we have no reason to doubt them. And after their clarifications, what we know until proving otherwise is that the budget was not altered. We're trying to hold people accountable. And people have not embraced those actions. We've heard people call it mission. But just on allegation that the budget was altered, we've been seeing publications that are hunting the criminals who altered the budget. You can have your cake and eat it. If altering a budget is a concern, and we are not calling people criminals, without any due process, without any investigation, how can we then be opposed to people who've been investigated, charged, and rather than go to court to exonerate themselves, people are describing the action in their ways. People are making efforts to try the matter in the court of public opinion rather than in the court of law. I want to reiterate that these anti-corruption actions are intentional. The government remains friend over them. We are not suggesting that people are evil. That's why we are not calling them criminals. Because under our law, when you are charged, it is presumed that you are innocent until proven guilty in the court of competent jurisdiction. Why aren't people embracing and running to the court, but using social media space now as a new courtroom? Some of those who've been accused, they refuse to avail themselves. And my assistant minister, who is a legal student, I think I said something really said you were trying to put the rebel. What was it? You said when you
flight from the law is a reasonable basis for inference of guilt.
Yeah. In simple terms, a man said when you run away from the law, it's reasonable enough to believe that you're guilty. So you have to tell your friend who making laws about what they play and running around, come to the court. At this point, I invite the Director General of the CSA who will now speak to you.
Thank you.
That was the Minister of Information, Jerry now is the Director General of the
Honorable
Agency,
Minister
Honorable
of
Joekai.
Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, Honorable Jerry Limix, Matthew T. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for the opportunity that you always provide the CSA to communicate directly to the people of our country. I also want to recognize his deputies and the presence of the Lord Mayor of the City of Monrovia, Honorable John Sherrick Siafa. I know you are here with your financial manager. I saw him around. He's somewhere. I also want to recognize him. The illustrious, hardworking team from the CSA. Today, I have the Deputy Director General for Human Resource Management and Policy, Honorable Darlington A.P. Smith. Also, the Deputy Director General for Administration, Honorable Dano Miayen. I have the Communications Director, the Special Technical Assistant to the Director General. I also see Mr. Josh Lobo, who's here today. Our distinguished guest and our professional colleagues in the media. Today, the Civil Service Agency will brief the press on the following. Fiscal year 2024, Civil Service Agency and NASCOP. NASCOP is the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation Retirement Program. The separation of the payrolls of the Central Administration of the Senate and the House of Representatives as directly requested by the Senate through its Rules, Order, and Administration Committee. And the one everybody is waiting for, progressive reports on 10 government spending entities in the ongoing Employee Status Regularization Project, the ESRP. In keeping with the Civil Service Agency Circular Memorandum of July 12, 2024, referencing the retirement of eligible employees in the fiscal year 2024, the Civil Service Agency and the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation, NASCOP, are pleased to announce a pre-retirement counseling and data collection exercise throughout the country from Monday, August 26th through Friday, September 13, 2024. The purpose of the exercise is to conduct a pre-retirement counseling workshop to provide full explanation of what prospective retirees should expect before and after retirement from government. To verify and complete the NASCOP pension benefits form, and to open either a bank or mobile money accounts. All designated participants are to come with the following: a copy of their retirement letter, a copy of their National Identity Registry or working ID card, a copy of their Social Security ID card, and 4 passport size photos. The CSA and NASCA also invite all who retire from government between 2020 and 2023 and have yet to begin receiving pension payments to kindly show up at the venue indicated to complete their processes. That means this government that just took over is not only going to retire people for fiscal 2024, but will go beyond that, go back as far as 2020 to accommodate people who were retired by then but have never received any retirement benefit. I think this is a great opportunity for our people. So we will be deploying 4 teams throughout the country with several venues. Team A will be in Montserrado and Maghidi counties. Team B will be in Grand Bassa, Bahol, Bomi, and Grand Cape Mau counties. Team C will be in Riverses, Lofa, Bom, and Nimba counties. Team D will be in Maryland, River G, Grand Croix, Sano, and Grand Jida counties. Detailed public service announcements with dates and locations for each county will be communicated shortly, and I can assure you that that will be done through this official medium. Upon returning from the field, the NASCA and CSA team will calculate all benefits for placement on the pension payroll effective November 1st, 2024. Meaning that after our retirees or potential retirees receive all their handshakes throughout August, September, and October, on November 1st, they will be transitioned into the national pension payroll. Meaning, as soon as you start receiving your salaries, you transition to receiving your pension salaries as of November 1st. We will also provide our retirees with special award letters. Award letters specifying benefit type and actual pension benefit and Social Security ID cards will be distributed to NASCA regional offices, and this is to give them easy access to all their documents that they deserve. Prevent the hurdles of traveling from Leeward counties coming to Monrovia. The CSA, however, would like to announce that there is no voluntary retirement. The age for retirement is 60 years. Once an employee reaches the age of 60, he or she is eligible for retirement and can be retired by the government through his or her employer. The discretionary power to retire or retain an employee at age 60 lies with the government through the Civil Service Agency. The CSA wishes to extend its deepest gratitude to NASCA for providing the financial and logistical support necessary for these pre-retirement counseling workshops nationwide. In short, all of these things are possible. They want to happen because NASCA and CSA are working together collaboratively, number one. Number two, because NASCA has already accepted to provide the resources and logistics needed to make it happen. So the CSA wants to express special thanks and appreciation to NASCO for supporting the initiative. The Liberian Senate, through its Rules, Order, and Administration Committee, has formally requested the Civil Service Agency to separate the payroll of its central administration from that of the Honorable House of Representatives. The CSA's Employee Services Division thoroughly reviewed this request submitted by the Senate's Rules, Order, and Administration Committee Chair, Senator J. Bleville Brown. After a meticulous evaluation, it was confirmed that the Senate Central Administration payroll was consistent with the version previously approved by the CSA. As a result, the CSA has officially approved the separation of the two payrolls, ensuring that they will henceforth be processed and approved independently. The Senate's request for separation stemmed from a directive issued by the House's Rules, Order, and Administration Committee Chair, Honorable J. Marvin Cole, who instructed Guaranty Trust Bank not to disburse the July 2024 salaries of the House's Central Administration employees. The CSA was notified of this directive, having been copied on the letter issued by Honorable Cole. It is important to highlight that the CSA has already approved these salaries, and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning had transferred the necessary funds to the relevant banks consistent with established laws and policies. Unfortunately, the payment process was halted by Honorable Cole's directive, which contravenes Chapter 5, Section 2.1 of the Standing Orders of the Civil Service. According to this provision, quote, the payment of salaries and wages throughout the civil service shall be determined by the Civil Service Agency and disbursed by the Ministry of Finance, unquote. Therefore, the instruction given by Honorable Cole directly violates the Standing Orders of the Civil Service. In so doing, the CSA and the MFDP bear no responsibility for the delay in the payment of the House's Central Administration employees' salaries. While the CSA regrets the situation, the delay is solely attributable to Honorable Cole's directive. In a significant development, the CSA is pleased to report that on Wednesday, August 7, 2024, the leadership of the House of Representatives granted the agency's request to physically verify and count all employees of the House's Central Administration. This marks a critical milestone in our ongoing efforts to sanitize the national payroll, streamline the wage bill, and reinforce accountability, integrity, and professionalism within the government's workforce. The CSA extends its profound gratitude to the House's leadership under the speakership of Honorable J. Fonati Kofa for facilitating this transparent and open process. Like previous reports, the headcount and verification report for the House's Central Administration will be presented in due course as part of our commitment to ensuring transparency and accountability in the utilization of public funds. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, on July 4th, 2024, His Excellency Joseph Joekai Sr., President of Liberia, in this very hall, officially launched the Employee Status Regularization Project, the ESRP. Immediately following the launch, the CSA deployed teams across 5 regions of the country to conduct the employee verification and headcount exercise across government functionaries. The exercise began on July 10th, 2024, and is expected to end on August 20th, 2024. The ESRB aims to achieve the following: identify legitimate employees on the government's payroll, regularize the employment status of civil servants who did not complete personnel action notices in keeping with Section 35, 1-6 of the revised Human Resources Policy Manual, but are already on the payroll. Identify and collect pertinent missing employee data to update the relevant fields on the payroll. Remove ghost names, illegitimate employees, and double tapers from the national payroll. Today, the CSA is pleased to announce the first progressive reports affecting 10 spending entities. The National Wash and Hygiene Commission, simply or affectionately called the Wash Commission. The total workforce of the Wash Commission during the verification and headcount was 82. The total number of employees not verified who did not fully submit the required documents for verification was 1. This represents 1% of the entire workforce. Total employees who did not attend the verification and headcount exercise at all, meaning no-show employees. The number was 18. The number represents 22% of the workforce. The total number of employees verified during the headcount process was 64. The number represents 77% of the workforce. The Monrovia City Corporation, and I know Mayor CFA will be listening keenly to this one. The total workforce of the Monrovia City Corporation during the verification and headcount exercise was 955. The total employees not verified who did not fully submit required documents for verification were 209, representing 22% of the workforce at the MCC. The total number of employees on sick leave without evidence of approved supporting documents was 13, representing 1% of the workforce. 2 employees were on leave without evidence of approved supporting documents, representing 0.00% of the entire workforce. Total employees verified were 630, representing 66% of the workforce. The total number of employees who did not show up for the headcount exercise, representing no-show employees, was 101, representing 11% of the workforce. The Civil Service Agency requests the Monrovia City Corporation to immediately relieve 9 employees who have consistently engaged in dangerous and destructive social media campaigns against public officials, particularly targeting the President of Liberia. These actions have caused significant harm to the reputation and image of the Monrovia City Corporation. The negative portrayal of government officials by these unscrupulous employees has far-reaching effects on the individuals concerned, meaning the targeted public officials and the government as a whole. Such unacceptable and sustained behavior on social media is incompatible with their status as employees of the Monrovia City Corporation. Therefore, the MCC must consider terminating their services and promptly notify the CSA of this action. By the way, the CSA has furnished the MCC with all supporting documents to that effect. The CSA strongly recommends that the Monrovia City Corporation, in adherence to applicable laws, terminate the employment of employee with record of consistent and deliberate job abandonment for more than 15 days in 1 or more months. This recommendation also extends to employees who have been absent for an extended amount of time without management's acknowledgement, approval for prolonged absenteeism, or proper documentation of their attendance. The Civil Service Agency acknowledges the Mayor's contribution and support to the successful implementation of the erase agenda, and will continue to work with the NCC in strengthening their human resource management system as other entities. Specifically, we highlighted these because the CSA has been working with the MCC to identify some of these critical human resource issues at the entity. And that's why this aspect is highlighted specifically. But like all the other entities, I'm going to detail the numbers of employees of those entities to be affected in the different categories. Ministry of Labor, total employees during the verification and headcount was 224. Reconciliation between Ministry of Labor May 2024 payroll uploaded into the CSA system and the headcount field report revealed that 2 employees on the May 2024 payroll were not reported to be verified, representing 1% of the entire workforce. The total number of employees verified during the headcount process was 150, representing 67% of the workforce. 10 employees were not verified, meaning they did not fully submit required documents for verification, representing 5% of the workforce. Total employees who did not show up at all for the headcount exercise, meaning they were unverified, there are 14 employees in that category, 1-4, representing 6% of the workforce. Total unverified employees were 48, including those on sick leave, study leave, code assignment, and assignments in Leeward counties, representing 2% and 19% of the workforce, respectively. Ministry of Transport. The total number of employees during verification and headcount was 398. The total number of unverified employees was 34. That includes sick leave, 2 study leave, 3 jury assignment, 3 outstation, 20, and vehicle enforcement, 6. The total number in essence is 34, representing 9% of the workforce. The total number of employees who did not show up to be verified, no show, was 18. This number represents 4% of the entire workforce. The total number of employees not verified was 71. This number represents 18% of the workforce. Total employees verified were 275. This number represents 69% of the workforce. Liberia Broadcasting System, LBS. Total workforce during verification and headcount was 142. The total number of employees that were not verified, that is, did not fully submit required documents for verification, was 3. This number represents 3% of the workforce. Total employees verified were 107. This number represents 91% of the entire workforce. Total number of employees unverified represents 7. It's 7. And that number represents 6% of the workforce. The Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism, Honorable Pierre, the Honorable Minister, total employees during verification was not recorded. It's not an oversight. There is a reconciliation that is being done between the attendance records analysis that will definitely tell us, and we will make that known to you in the official report during submission. But I will go ahead to read the other portion of your report. The total number of employees not verified was 22. This number represents 6% of the entire workforce. The total number of employees who did not show up, meaning they were not verified, no show, was 11. This number represents 3% of the workforce. The total number of employees who were not verified at all was 8, and the number represents 2% of the entire workforce. The total number of employees verified was 351. This number represents 89% of the workforce. Ministry of Education, Central Office only, because verification is still going on in the DWA counties. There were 300 employees that show up for the headcount exercise, and the number represents 89% of the entire workforce at the central office. The total number of employees on steady leave with no evidence of gray sheets or documents, relevant documents, was 15. This number represents 10% of the entire workforce. There were 5 employees on sick and maternity leave without evidence of medical report. So total employees accumulatively verified were 304. And as we indicated, the number represents 89%. That's only for central office, so I know people are concerned about the whole Ministry of Education. But Ministry of Education verification and headcount process is still ongoing, like internal affairs and the rest of the other ministries in the DWA counties. The Governance Commission, the total number of employees during verification and headcount was 156. The total number of employees who were not verified was 5. This number represents 3% of the workforce. Total employees verified was 141. This number represents 90% of the workforce. The total number of employees not verified at all who did not show up, this number represents 7% of the entire workforce at the central office of the Governance Commission. Office of the Vice President and a group of 77. The total number of employees during the verification and headcount was 174. Total number of verified employees was 97. This number represents 67% of the entire workforce. The total number of employees who were not verified, meaning they did not submit required documents fully for verification, was 3. This number represents 2% of the workforce. The total number of employees who did not show up at all, no-show employees, was 34. This number represents 23% of the workforce. 1 employee resigned at the time of the verification and 1 died. So the 2 employees represent 1% of the workforce. Employees on sick, studied, maternity, and annual leave were 10. This number represents 7% of the workforce. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, based on the outcome of the verification and headcounts conducted at the reporting spending entities, the CSA has blocked a total of 332 employees pending further verification in 1 month. That will be from August 15 to September 15. The government is expected to save $161,117.97 monthly and $789,280.10 for the remaining 5 months in 2024. That is when the spending entities concerned work with the CSA to take these actions. That's what the government will be saving. Here are the details of the breakdown of those two amounts, the monthly and remaining 5 months. Ministry of Transport, 398 total, 29 employees unverified. The monthly wage bill for that is $12,300. And for the remaining 5 months is $61,502.15. That's what government will be saving from the ministry. Ministry of Labor, total of 224 at the time of verification, 12 unverified. As a result of the blocking of the CSA for the 1 month verification, 4,539 will be saved monthly, and 22,600 will be saved for the remaining 5 month period. Liberia Broadcasting System, Central Office, 142 at verification. Unverified employees, 7. Monthly salary for the 7 is $1,868. That will be saved. And for the remaining 5 months, $9,340. National Water Sanitation and Hygiene Commission, 82 at verification. Unverified, 8. Monthly wage bill is $4,077. For the remaining 5 months, $12,000. Governance Commission, 156 at verification. Unverified employees, 5 as reported. Wage bill monthly, $5,000. For the remaining 5 months, $26,445. Monrovia City Corporation, 955 at verification. Unverified, 115. Wage bill monthly, $26,559. Wage bill amount to be saved for the remaining 5 months, $132,796.85. Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, 390 at verification. Unverified, 11. Monthly savings, $1,972. For the remaining 5 months, $9,861. Office of the Vice President and the group of 77 combined, 174 at verification, 34 unverified. Amount to be saved monthly, $15,398. Amount to be saved for the remaining 5 months in 2024, $76,992. Ministry of Education, Central Office, 328 at verification, 36 unverified, $6,749.68 monthly wage to be saved. For the remaining 5 months, $37,567.07. The CSA has also blocked 388 employees who are recommended for dismissal, 1 month suspension without pay, and prorated salaries of employees to receive warning letters based on the analysis of reports of the attendance records following the verification and headcount exercise conducted at their respective entities. As I said, the CSA will be officially submitting these analysis reports to the entities, reflecting the wage bill implication. The government will save monthly $373,449.58, and United States dollars $804,632.20 for the remaining 5 months in 2022. Ministry of Transport. Some of the numbers will change because these numbers include the attendance records analysis. So it's a combination of the unverified that I read earlier, plus the attendance records analysis reports. Ministry of Transport. Those to receive warning letters, 130, with their salaries prorated, $8,267.48 is what we save for the month. Because it's prorated, so we cannot multiply that by the remaining 5 months because it's just for 1 month. They will receive the warning letters and their salaries will be prorated for that month. Ministry of Transport, those recommended for suspension, total number 89. They will be suspended without pay. The salary implication, meaning that will be saved by the government for the 1 month suspension without pay, will be $34,470.65. Ministry of Transport, those to be dismissed, recommended for dismissal, total 31. Salary implication, many salaries to be saved going forward. If all they are not verified over the 1 month period, that is August 15 to September 15. Government will be saving $12,386.03. For the remaining 5 months, the government will save $61,930.15. Ministry of Labor, those to receive warning letters, total 29. Salary implication, meaning their salaries will be prorated, and the government will save $1,799.11. We do not have a total because we are not multiplying that over the 5 month period because it's only for 1 month. Ministry of Labor, those recommended for suspension for 1 month without pay, total 58. The salary implication, $32,550.50. Also, we cannot multiply that over the period of 5 months because they are only suspended for 1 month. So government will only save for 1 month in that case. Ministry of Labor, those recommended for dismissal, total 51. Salary implication, $30,027.85. Multiply over a period of 5 months, remaining 5 months in this year. Government will be saving $150,139.25. We move on to the Liberia Broadcasting System, Central Office. Employees to receive warning letters, 12. Salary implication, $458. That's just prorating their salaries. So it's for the number of days. And they will only receive the warning letter for 1 month. So it's not multiplied over the 5 month period. Liberia Broadcasting System, those to be suspended without pay, 7. Salary implication, $2,823.61. Again, we won't multiply that over the 5 month period because it's just for 1 month. Liberia Broadcasting System, Central Office, those recommended for dismissal, 3. Salary implication, $986.20. Total for the 5-month period, $4,931. Governance Commission. Those to receive warning letters, 19. Salary implication, $2,453.72. That's just for 1 month. Governance Commission, those to be suspended. 2. Salary implication, $397.65. And Governance Commission dismissal report tells me that no recommendation for dismissal. Liberia Land Authority. Employees to receive warning letters, 30. Salary implication, $1,810.65. No 5-month period, because it's prorated for 1 month. Liberia Land Authority, those to receive suspension as recommended by the CSA, 183. Total, $20,192.33. And again, that's just for 1 month. Suspension without pay. Liberia Land Authority, those recommended for dismissal, 69. Salary implication, monthly, $21,469.19. And for the 5-month period, multiplied, gives you $107,345.95. Ministry of Education, Central Office, 3. Salary implication, $142.41, prorated. Employees to receive warning, that's just 1 month. Ministry of Education, Central Office to be suspended, 3. Salary implication, $722, again, cannot multiply because it's just suspension for 1 month. Ministry of Education, Central Office to be dismissed, 4. Salary implication, monthly, $2,248.42. And for the remaining 5-month period, $11,242.01. Again, as we indicated, the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism will complete the analysis of the attendance records and do a total, and then officially submit the report to the Minister as self-entity in keeping with our established procedures governing the Employee Status Regularization Project. Mr. Minister, our Lord Mayor, distinguished government officials, members of the press, I am pleased to report on behalf of the CSA that when the reporting spending entities affect these actions and appropriately notify the CSA, the government will save $534,567.55 monthly, and will save $1.5 million for the remaining 5 months in 2024. Mr. Minister, once again, thank you for the platform. That's the first progressive reports on the Employee Status Regularization Project that was launched by His Excellency the President. When we are ready to present the second progressive reports, Honorable Minister, we will appropriately notify you so that you can again provide us an opportunity to come and report to the Liberian people. Thank you.
This is focused on Liberia.
Many thanks to the
Television.
Director General of the
Director General of the
Civil
Civil Service Agency, giving this reports over the months, head counts, and
I've always said
all the
that
activities.
the civil service is one sector of government that is experiencing or going through major structural reform. And I listened to the DG outline the basic report from the employees status regularization exercise. I was launched here a couple of weeks ago by His Excellency President Josiah Joekai. And so, as always, we'll have to afford you, members of the press, the opportunity to put your question to our guest. And I procedure will handle that. We appreciate what you do, please. Previous your question on the presentation that was made by the Honorable Director General of the Civil Service. Procedure.
Members of the press have questions, please form a queue. Come forward, please. Please introduce yourself and the institution you report from.
So my name is James Khalid Bala, and I report for the Torah recording by MICAT. So the question go to the DG. It's the boss. So Chief, I heard you speaking about the MCC, Model City Corporation. And we have other cities within the environs of Monrovia. Is this number 955, including the other cities that fall within the environment of Monrovia? And the other that has to do with the issues we refer to as media practitioners, is Josiah. There are issues large returning in the issue or in the media that has to do with Josiah Medical from one county of the House of Representatives and out of you. And there are the issues of the text messages coming from you to him and from you to him in regarding you defying of entering in the House of Representatives to continue your head count in that area. He said you exposed his text messages, and he said because you have done that, there is a contempt charges to be leveled against you if you dared enter the House of Representatives to continue your head counts. How far is this matter in regard to the CSE and the House of Representatives in your explanation?
So my question goes to the DG. My name is Samson Mosire, I report for Oman Park. Mr. Director General, I listened to you recommending to MCC that 9 employees should be displaced from the MCC. And you said because they wage attack on public officials in the president's office. Can you state how does their work interfere with their Facebook posts and who are those employees?
My name is Kura Thompson, and I report for the Children Independent newspaper. I have two questions, and one is, DG, you spoke about warning letter, and you also talk about withholding salaries for 1 month. Is that what the law calls for? And then my next question is, why did you have those who are affected coming up to express dissatisfaction? What are the means of going about with that? Thank you very much.
So good afternoon, my name is Ines Sobo. I report for Lux Radio and Online Television. I'd like to share some of the concerns of our followers. Their concerns are in line with the retirement we spoke about. Some of them have asked questions about individuals who have been on retirement or left the government sector. Do they still stand to benefit the retirement process that is ongoing? Thank you.
My name is Samson Liberia, and I report for DT on. My question goes to Sophia. Yesterday, the President 10,000 youth programs begin at the Liberia University, and some concern for students was I'm also part of it, so I want to know what would be the benefit, because we were told that 2 weeks program that will just be ending next week Friday. So what would be the benefit of students attending the program? Thank you.
Thank you. We come to the end of questions.
Right. Looks like this is going to be very simple today, and I will begin with the question on retirement. I think I explained vividly in my statement that this government is not only going to retire people for the fiscal year 2024, but the government is going back as far as 2020. Those who were retired but have never received benefits they will begin to receive their benefits. They will be processed. I think that is a huge milestone accomplished by this government to go back to our people who served this country before in different capacities and were retired but have not received retirement benefits. So yes, those who are asking questions about that, the answer is a resounding yes. They will be considered for the retirement exercise. Thompson, you asked about warning letters and reporting salaries. The warning, those who will receive warning letters, that's what we say will be prorated, meaning that the deductions will be made based on the number of days that they did not go to work. That's not going to be for the entire month. So it's just going to be for the number of days that you did not. If you did not go, that's why you saw the totals are very low. Like some of them $400, $300 is because it's just for the number of days that you did not go to work. And you ask whether or not that is statutory or that is consistent with our regulations. The answer is a resounding yes. It's provided for. Clearly, it speaks to how much should be deducted and everything. Nothing is done outside of the laws. Is consistent with our instruments. You talk about the satisfaction with the decision of the actions of the civil service. Again, this entire ESRP is conducted through an established, vetted, and adapted system that speaks directly to the payroll. That is why when you are not an employee and you come to be verified, it's not possible. Because the system speaks to the payroll. If they capture your data, your information, and you are not on the payroll, the system will flag it, will tell us that you are not on the payroll. So there is no discrepancy, there should be no reason for dissatisfaction. Many of the people who have been affected by these actions before, they have said to us yes. For example, if they were dismissed, they come and say, oh, it's true, I did not go to work for 2 months. I did not go to work for 3 months. I'll give you a classic example. I saw an employee who had been seen over the last 3 months, but the employee at a particular entity. I saw them at the CSA today with a paper in their hands, claiming that they were on jury duty. Yeah, the jury duty, they said they were there for 3 months. And I said, but we've been meeting. And she said, yeah, DG, that's true. I said, but then how come you didn't turn off for now you've got excuse in your hand? But we have not even reported on your entity. We reported on the person's entity today. I said we have not reported. How come that you even know that you will be affected by this? She said, because somebody called me and explained to me and said they saw my name on the list. And I said, so that's why you went for the excuse? Because you never had this before. You just went for it. She said, DG, to tell you the truth, yes, I just got this. So meaning that she was here in Monrovia, she was not working, she decided not to even participate in the hair count. In fact, not decided she couldn't because she was not working, even though she was here, but she was taking pay. So somebody just called her and told her about it, so she ran straight to the court. She went and obtained the pay for the excuse that she was on jury duty. I'm giving you a classic example that people are coming up and telling the CSA on a daily basis, I beg you, just consider me. Actually, I didn't work for this month. Actually, I didn't work for that month. So, I'm not sure people are really going to be dissatisfied. And since we started this exercise, you have not seen people coming out in the street to protest because it's a system. What we're presenting is truthful, it's realistic. It's their own internet records that are analyzed. And we capture your picture, we capture you, meaning your picture, we scan all your credentials, we load them up into the system. They have to be consistent with what we have. If you don't have any document on your file or in the system, it's not going to be there. The system is going to tell us that you don't have. That's why you will see updated but not verified. Meaning that you came, you appeared, you show us document, we fill the missing fields, but you are not verified. There are still documents missing. So actually, I don't think there's going to be dissatisfaction to the extent that we should be afraid. No. This is in the best interest of our nation. It's to strengthen and improve our workforce. So something, you talk about this measure of employees. I don't know what exactly. The 9 employees, MCC. Okay. So I am not going to speak to the specifics and I'm not going to call names because this is in the purview of the MCC, but it is the CSA's responsibility as the Chief Human Resource Advisor to the government, is in keeping with that clause in our Act establishing the entity, that whatever we see going wrong in one entity, we have a responsibility to move in and advise the entity on how to manage and control their human resource or their personnel. So it was on the basis of that that the CSA was able to uncover those attitudes exhibited by the individuals concerned and met with the Monrovia City Corporation. As a matter of fact, everything we said here, Monrovia City Corporation was aware because we had prior meetings with them before coming here. So the action will be taken by the Monrovia City Corporation and appropriately notify the CSA. But I will not go into details. Employees have to conduct themselves. Even the employee handbook of the MCC was grossly violated by the individuals in question. There are provisions that are highlighted by the MCC in their own handbook that was grossly violated. And that's why the employees concerned will be relieved of their posts, because their actions are completely incompatible with their status. So James, you asked about the total number, the 955, what of 9 is inclusive of the PCC or other cities, is only the MCC. The PCC has written us and they are going, in fact, apart from their official requests for us to do hair count, the hair count is mandatory for spending entities. So we will be also doing the verification and the hair count for the PCC. So issue with Honorable Poe, I'm not going to speak to that. I think the question you were supposed to be asking me or applauding the CSA about is the acknowledgement of the fact that the Honorable Speaker in his leadership invited us and gave us the go-ahead to go and conduct the verification hair count. I think that should be the headline, that should be the news. But I'm not going to speak to anything personal or private in that instance. Thank you. Honorable Minister, thank you. I see that those are the other questions.
So you see, when we come to the press conference and the messaging is clear and you don't have questions, then you do that. I'm proud. You're a beneficiary of the program according to you. You will benefit in the budget program. You get knowledge. As to whether there is something beyond that knowledge, we will find out from LTA, because they are the sector institution responsible for that. But the fact that you got yourself enrolled, you know why you went there, and you know what the benefit is. You know, so not every time you kind of press something, you ask questions or particular questions, you get it. I mean, the person was clear enough. You will always be PG explain. If you are clear in a way that you didn't have it, you really have to ask questions. Then tell the story, elevate the news. And tomorrow, for your different media institutions, we're going to be watching out, because a lot of people look for in news. We got it here today. The DG has given you a package that if you wanted to run stories on what he said here today, you got 2 weeks or more of news. I see some very veteran journalists, Bill Jackler, there, many of you know it. These are people who have been in the profession. And from where he's sitting, if you ask him what would come out of this place, you'll say, if I was an editor, I'd have news for 2 weeks. And I'm sure most of you know that. And you will do justice to the presentation made by the CSO, because it saves the country. Hey, wait a minute. The figures the DG was calling here, you got to start asking the fundamental questions. Prior to reaching the conclusion you reached, the government has been paying this money to people. And for those of them who did not exist at all, as a media, you got to be concerned where the money was going. So I'm thinking, as a spokesperson of the government, the DG hasn't said that, as to whether we can look forward to having individuals who are culpable. That will within the context of the law, so that we don't have a repeat of that in our history.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Minister. The Minister is right, and thank you for highlighting that. Very important. As we speak today, prior to coming here, we wrote the Ministry of Justice officially and sent the names of 2 human resource directors of entities that were previously reported on, and asking the Ministry of Justice to launch investigation into the gross human resource violations, the procedural violations. I don't even want to call it errors, because if you read what we uncover in those places, it tells you that they were intentionally done. But it is not our place as CSA to say that. So we send them officially to the Ministry of Justice. Now, when we are submitting the final reports to the heads of entities, such as the one we'll be sending to the minister, we'll also be making recommendation of certain individuals who have roles in those gross human resource management violations. So yes, you are right, sir. We also took an action at the NCCRN, and we are now saying here, immediately we deal with the NCCRN for gross financial malpractices. We recommended the former Director General and the Controller to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission for investigation. In the process of the investigation, we were informed by the LACC that in fact that investigation is widening, as they call somebody and ask them, in their explanation they will name other people. And when those people come, they ask them, they too will name other people. So the scope is widening. Yeah, we might go to something different beyond what we're even thinking about. So prosecutions, investigations are following these situations. I'll give you an instance, Honorable Minister and other government officials. The Liberia National Police, we together in March? Yes, in March we uncovered 98 fictitious names on the police, on the LNP's payroll. 98. So the LNP is concerned. The IG wrote the CSA and they want an investigation. So what the CSA has done, the CSA has responded by providing the names of individuals who should be directly investigated, not the fictitious name, because it's even possible that those names are spiritual. You won't even see any. You may not see any of those names. They are ghosts. If you chase them from now to judgment day, you may not even see them. So I said, Mr. Agi, the people who facilitated these processes, here they are. And I presented on behalf of the CSA the list of those people to the LNP for investigation. So, Mr. Minister, the CSA is also following up to ensure that people who carry out these discrepancies are investigated and prosecuted where necessary, and asked to restitute also where necessary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable DG. Thank you, Minister Pia. Thank you, dear colleagues. We're going to stop here for today, and we will return on Thursday for another briefing. Thank you very much.
Focus on Liberia Television. My name is Gwendolyn Dorado at the conference room of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm Gwendolyn Dorado saying, have a good day.